All right, guys, we're out here in beautiful, scenic Utah, and for the next 7 days, we are going to be traveling to various destinations and visiting the natural wonders of the state. We're going to visit a lot of cool stuff here, so if you guys want to follow along and see our adventure, do it for yourself. We're going to have everything in the description below. You can see what we're doing and you can follow along for yourself. So hope you guys enjoy this travel video. We're going to take you inside and give you a tour of the Airbnb. So let's get to it. It's got a really cool back patio area. You have a grill back there, which I'm going to be using very soon to cook our dinner because I'm starving. Over here, you have your seating area. Then you have a fire pit around here. There's a burn ban, so we can't use the fire. We'll burn down the whole state. So that's out for us on this, but potentially an option when you guys come. Over here, we have a hot tub. We will potentially be using that tonight. It's actually not too bad out. It's in the mid 70s. It's sprinkling right now. Temperature-wise, it's good, which is great because it's the middle of July in the summer, and I thought it would be like incredibly hot. It's not. The whole week that we're going to be here, the high is going to be in the 80s. Now, let's look inside the actual Airbnb itself. This is the master suite, large size closet in here. We're not gonna be here long enough to pack out our clothes and need to use that much. Whatever you're gonna need to do, it's a big enough closet for you. Back here is a flat screen TV. There's 2 rooms in this one. Both of them have nice flat screens. It's just a really cool, rustic looking place, which is nice because we're kind of up on a little bit of a mountain here. It's definitely good size for the amount of people, and we're just here for 2, so you could fit more than that. But anyways, pretty cool bathroom, double sink, double mirror, walk-in shower, which I think is pretty cool. It's got a head on the side and then one that drops straight down here. Got a utility room in here. We wanted a washer and dryer in ours because we wanted to pack a little bit lighter. Some people packed lighter than others. But anyways, I only packed 3 sets of clothes, so washer and dryer were a plus. Nick's bedroom is basically the same. I actually have that fan in my bedroom at home. That's kind of neat. Basically same setup, a little bit smaller closet. Bed I think is a queen, so a little bit smaller, and then you have the same size flat screen TV. Both of the rooms also exit out onto the back patio with a door of their own, so I think that's pretty cool. We have the living room area, which is pretty good size, I would say. I like the furniture and everything, and it's clean, which is very important to me that the place we stay at is nice and clean. And here's the kitchen area. Overall, it's a pretty nice, spacious kitchen. They do, like most Airbnbs, come with a booklet. This isn't like full of rules, the whole thing. You can see it's pretty thick. It's actually mostly full of destinations and things you can try out here. So they have a list of different cool stuff that you can do, places you can visit. They even have like wall paintings in some of these, you know, back from the indigenous people era, and pictographs and just different things. So it's pretty cool. I haven't looked through this totally yet. We have an itinerary of our own, but I'm gonna skim through it later and see if we can't pick up a few additional places to visit. That's pretty much all for our tour. I am going to get ready for dinner to be prepped. I'm going to kind of relax a little bit. We flew into Las Vegas and had to drive through Las Vegas, which was not fun. I think it was about 3.5 hours to get here from Las Vegas, and everything worked out pretty good, but it's been a long day for us. We're both tired. So we are going to enjoy the rest of our evening. Tomorrow we're gonna hit it early on Zion, and we're gonna go see some cool destinations there. So we'll bring you guys along through the camera lens and you can see our adventures. So until the morning. It's roughly 6:15 in the morning. We are now headed out to Zion National Park. The shuttles run starting at 7, so we're gonna get there and get on the first shuttle, hopefully beat some of the crowd in there. And I think we're gonna do the Narrows. We have made it to Zion National Park. Our first stop is going to be the Narrows. Everyone and their brothers also made it to Zion National Park, so it's very busy. So we're going to make the best of it. We got here a little bit later than we should have. Don't be like us. Get here right at least by the first shuttle, by 7. Anyways, we're going to have a good time. We're going to get to the Narrows. Let's do it. All right, we have made it to stop number 9 here at Zion National Park. We are heading towards the Narrows. Chance of flooding is probable, but I think we'll be okay, so we're going to do it. So back up here, it's been raining a little bit here in Utah and around the Zion area. So up here we have a bunch of runoff through the rocks, and the water's just draining down, dripping off of all of the leaves and the vegetation and stuff, and it's running down into the river. So it's pretty cool. There's been a lot of water from the recent rains and there's a lot of runoff right now. It's super muddy. We are still on our way to the Narrows. We didn't bring a map with us. We forgot in the car. So we hope we're on our way to the Narrows. If you're seeing this, that means we are correct and we're getting there. We were officially heading in the correct direction because we made it here to the Narrows. We are about to get in the water and wade through it. So I think it'll be pretty cool. A lot of people too. Probably like 80% of the people on our shuttle bus waited until stop 9 to do this. So if you want to come do it, I would get here early in the morning.
We just made it through our first trek of the Narrows, first water patch. Feet are already soaked. That's okay. Great views so far. Would recommend a walking stick, definitely. And we're gonna try to find one of those along the way. Certainly deeper now. We got up to pier level, so fully submerged pretty much. The water's freezing. Now wishing it was 100 degrees, but it's fine. It's going good.
We are getting deeper in the Narrows now, and the water is getting deeper as well. So we ended up getting a little bit high on us, and it's a little bit chilly here because we're in 60-degree temperature. Very cool. Definitely should have brought a walking stick. A lot of rocks, a lot of people. We have made it a little bit further into the Narrows here. I think we're only like roughly maybe a mile or so in, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but we're walking on, you know, wet rocks under muddy water you can't see. So it's not too bad, but we're making our way in, getting a little further, and scenery here is super cool. Like we're down and it's just this deep valley, very cool experience. So definitely something for you guys to check out. Here is an attempt to skip a rock. Well, we have finally made it to the point where we see sunlight here, which I don't know if that's just a timing thing. It probably is because it's about 10:30 maybe in the morning now. But this is the first spot we've actually seen light in the Narrows. So it's a little bit hotter in the sun, but it's nice to see the sunlight again. We are officially done with the Narrows, at least for our end of things. We only did like maybe 2 miles of it. I think in total it's like an 8-mile trek. So you can definitely go a lot further, but we're gonna turn around and head back. I think it took us, I don't know, a couple hours to get back here, so it's gonna take a couple to get back out. You could definitely make a full day of this and go a lot further. We are gonna pack up and go out, and we're gonna hit some other stops, so we're not doing the full Narrows, but it was definitely a super cool experience, really scenic, really cool everywhere, cool rocks, water, and just being in the canyon in general. So definitely cool one to check out. Good morning, everyone. We're out here at Bryce Canyon National Park, and I'm a little bit chilly. It's like 57 degrees right now. Definitely not what I was expecting for middle of July weather, but you can probably see back here the views. They're amazing. We're going to be exploring the park, looking at some of the natural attractions, and just taking it all in. So we're going to take you along with us through the lens. Let's go check it all out. Behind me here we have Widowmaker's Peak at Bryce Canyon. That's not what it's called at all. I don't think it has a name, but it's very narrow, very steep slide, and if you fall off, you're gonna drop a couple thousand feet and probably die. So I'm gonna try it. All right, now a few steps back and I can fall to my death, so I'm gonna come back up. I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not feeling that adventurous this morning. So Bryce Canyon is just incredible, and we're not even far into the park. We're just like on one of the walk trails next to Sunset Point, which ironically we're here at sunrise, but it is still super cool. I mean, the views back here are just incredible. So we're walking here on a trail at Sunset Peak, and it's really nice because along the edge of the canyon where you can see everything, they have a nice paved trail, and then they also have some flat areas off right next to the edge of the canyon where you can step up close and get a really good view of everything. So we are actually up on Sunrise Point here at Bryce Canyon, and in the background here we have a bunch of hoodoes. Now there's going to be a lot more as we get further into it. What those are is basically a formation in the rock that's caused by wind erosion and mainly like water. As it trickles down, it freezes and expands and it cracks the rock and chips it. So it makes some very cool formations here and great overlook area. We're about to head down the trail here, and this one is going to be Queen's Garden Trail. We are going to, at some point, probably after this one, hit the Navajo Trail Loop, which is one of the main attractions here at Bryce Canyon, and they have a lot more of the hoodoes there as well. So that's a really cool one to check out. We're not going to start with it, but we will end up getting there. So back here you can just see some of the really big rock formations that are eroding away, and the erosion rate's only 1 to 4 feet every decade to century. I don't remember which one it was, but it's quite a few years. We'll be going back and forth a little bit as we stair step down, and then that will take us into the most popular attraction, the Navajo Loop Trail, with a whole lot of hoodoes down here. We are still on our way down the switchbacks here. I keep talking about the hoodoes, but as you can see them back here, they're the really big and slender spires. They're not all big, but a lot of the ones up top here are very sizable. We're at another trailhead here. We are getting closer to the Navajo Loop. We're not quite there yet. This also is in the direction of the Peekaboo Loop, or also Sunset's Point. If we went up here, this would be the Queen Victoria Trail. So we're gonna head on to Navajo Loop and check all that out. As we're getting further down in here, we're starting to see some more trees, and quite a few of them actually are fully like stripped off, like all the bark's gone and everything. The type of tree more than likely has a big hand to play in it, but also the wind helps strip that off. And back here is a runoff area where all the water runs through when it rains heavy or floods out. So it's kind of formed a little riverbed, but it's dry right now. There in the rocks, you can see what they call a window, and that is created due to moisture freezing and expanding. So this tree up here, you can't see the whole thing due to the camera, but this is a really massive tree, and I think it got struck by lightning, and that's why we see it on fire, because the surrounding trees are not charred or anything. So I would say this was a lightning strike, burned the tree up, and it looks like a power pole now. So that's what got our attention to it, but kind of neat how it, can burn, but it still stays standing. Back here's another hoodoe, and this one is getting very close to becoming 2 rocks, and the top one becoming a boulder. But it's pretty cool. You can see there's really not much left there holding those together. So eventually, as more moisture and rain piles in there and freezes and expands, it's going to chip away at that rock underneath, and it's going to break loose. For now, it's just a really cool piece of scenery to look at. There's a little chipmunk right here, and he does not seem to be afraid of people because he has not moved when about 10 walked by him. See how close I can get. And you're not really supposed to feed the wildlife in national parks. They had some really chunky squirrels at Zion, so I think people do feed them, but these ones seem about regular here, so I think they're doing all right, eating their own foods. We've now made it to the actual starting point of the Navajo Loop. Essentially, it comes to a trailhead, and you can break off in about 3 different directions. We are heading on to the Navajo Loop, and it should be very cool. So let's see what it looks like. All right, we have decided to make a strategic stop and sit down briefly to take a little rest. The hike's not bad at all, but we were definitely going up a little bit of an incline and breathing a little bit on that. I'm going to say that's because we were at higher elevation, not because I'm out of shape. We're officially getting into what the Navajo Trail Loop is more known for, and that's these massive rock formations right along the sides where you're walking. We're going to get into a lot more, but the scenery is just getting better and better here. So you're not going to be able to see all of it, but there are massive pine trees growing up in the run, like in the Navajo Trail Loop. And we have 2 of them back here. One of them's massive, the other one's kind of scrawny, but I think it just looks really cool. So I'm definitely breathing a little bit more in here. It's a bit of a steeper elevation, but you do feel the temperature change. It's quite a bit cooler down here. Now we don't have direct sunlight right now either, but it just stays a lot cooler and the temperatures are nice. So it feels pretty good right now. Maybe like a quarter of the way up the Navajo Trail Loop, so this is not for the faint of heart hiking up, because I'm already breathing heavy and it's a little bit of a workout, but still very cool. And this view back here is what it looks like when you come up to the top of the Navajo Trail Loop, and it's just phenomenal. And you can carry on too, you can go deeper down on the trail. I don't think we're gonna do that. I think we're probably gonna head back towards the bathroom area because they don't have them on the trails, and food too. We're a little bit hungry, but the views up here are just spectacular. All right, so that concludes our Bryce Canyon tour, and everything here was fantastic. The scenery and landscape is just phenomenal, and honestly, the crowds weren't bad at all. It wasn't overly congested or anything. This so far has been one of my top favorite spots. We're out here once again at Zion National Park, and behind us, this is one of the overlook spots, and this is the Checkerboard Mesa. So basically in the background here, the stones are etched in a checkerboard pattern, and that's where the name comes from. And that's due to years of erosion and cross bedding. And you can see it up there on the sides of the mountain. It's really etched in there, and it really stands out. So it really definitely lives up to its name. All right, guys, we're back here at Zion National Park, and we are here later in the afternoon. It's around 5 o'clock-ish, roughly. And honestly, it's really nice. Crowds have died out. Now, this is a Sunday, late afternoon, so maybe that's part of it. But I would think during the week it's probably roughly the same. So things have died down. There was no line for the shuttle. The gift shop was packed though. That was still busy. But anyways, besides the point, not too crowded here. We're gonna do 2 short trails. The first one is going to be the grotto, which is at stop 5. Once we finish that, it's a half mile. We are going to get back on the shuttle, get off at stop 7, and do another short half-mile trail. Up top here, we have some very large prickly pear cactuses. There really haven't been as many cactuses here in the park as I would have expected. You know, we've seen quite a few just driving through Utah, and there are quite a few in the park, but they're not like everywhere. But that's a pretty good sizable one, and you will see them throughout the park. So this trail, the grotto, is very flat and wide, so it's a pretty easy beginner's trail, I would say. All right, so it might be kind of hard to see on the camera here, but there is a lizard on this log here, and I don't know what it's called, but we've seen quite a few of them around here, and even at our Airbnb, there's a couple of them. Like, we'll be out back and they'll come like right up next to you and grab a bug real quick. So we have 4 wild hen turkeys over here, and very close. There's just so many people that come to this park. You know, they just become used to people because they don't see them as predator. And they're not hunted here or anything either. So they're wild, but they're not really afraid of humans. That is really incredible to be able to see them up that close, wild turkeys. So we've finished out the hike on the grotto. It was very cool, nice, simple trail. But we're gonna go hit our next trail and then wrap things up. One of the other cool things about Zion National Park is they have a shuttle system that takes you to all of the main stops throughout the park. So you can get on at the visitors area and park there, and they'll have a shuttle that will take you all the way throughout the park, and they run about every 5 minutes or so. So you don't really have to worry about waiting a long time to get picked up and get taken back.
So we are now at Weeping Rock Trail in Zion National Park. It's a 0.5 mile hike. So not too bad. We wanted something quick and easy before we go to dinner. The weather's really nice. A lot less people than there was whenever we did the Narrows, so that's really nice because we can kind of just enjoy ourselves and talk. Apparently on this hike, the rainwater will come down the canyon and it harbors like ferns and a bunch of different plants and stuff, which I love plants, so I'm pretty excited about this one. We have a little stream here to begin our hike. This is literally as soon as we enter. The water is much clearer here than it was in the Narrows, so that's kind of cool to see clear water. So we are now going down the staircase. This is like as soon as you get off the shuttle, basically, to the little stream so that we can kind of get closer to the water. So we have a little bridge here and a little stream. Typically it's from like snow melt and rainwater. I think it's rained almost every day that we've been here so far, which is kind of surprising. I expected it to be like hot and dry every single day. But right now, I think it's roughly like 70-ish degrees. This would be maidenhair fern. This is very abundant on this trail because of all the water that comes down. We've made it to the top of Weeping Rock. So this is basically a plateau in the park that collects all of the snow melt and rainwater. Hasn't been any snow lately, but it's been raining, so rainwater, and it comes down and feeds all of these ferns and plants. You can actually see the water pouring down right here, and we're actually getting a little splash here. The cement below us is wet, so it's pretty cool. Actually getting rained on as I come up here. We just finished the Weeping Rock Trail, 0.5 miles overall, I think, there and back probably. Pretty short. I highly recommend doing that. It's a good time of day to go as well, so not too many people. Maybe we saw maybe a total of 10 on that one, so it was very, very nice overall. I liked it. I'm gonna record this because I'm a dental hygienist, and this is lichens, which is the like mossy formation on the rocks, but that's a dental hygiene term, lichen planus. If you know, you know.
So we booked an ATV ride here in Orderville, and basically we're gonna go get in one of those, and we're going to drive to some slot canyons and get to explore those. So I think it'll be pretty cool. It's a 2-hour excursion, so not long at all. I think it'll be really cool. So we're gonna get in some ATVs, ride some slot canyons, and check it all out. We're out here at the slot canyons. Our guide expertly drove us through the sand and the rocks and the mountains and got us here. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. She seems to know a thing or two about the history and the environment, and I think we're going to learn a lot. So I think it'll be a really good time.
Right on the edge, where it changes from dark brown to light brown, it starts to curve.
Okay.
And there are pock marks. Those are petroglyphs. They're carvings. And they're little pictures.
So we're inside the slot canyons now, and the temperature is a lot lower here than the outside. It feels very cool. Reminds me of a cave. Okay, I think I can climb over this. If I can't, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed in myself, so let's check it out. Okay, well, that's not... Yeah. So it goes quite a ways. Huh. Alright, I'm gonna run the gauntlet. Hey, that wasn't bad. That's kind of fun.
You can surf it.
So we are at the second slot canyon here. Our guide has informed us that this is more of like a rappelling canyon. That was one of the options for us too. I'm a little bit afraid of heights, so I kind of chickened out on it. But I think it would have been really cool to do, and it was tempting. I didn't do it, but you could do it. I think it'd be a really good time. They hike up to the top and then rappel down about 40 to 50 feet roughly. And if you want to try it out or just do what we're doing, we are here with Rome Outdoor Ventures.
I'll let you go.
So down here in the canyon, you can actually find seashells in various areas, and they've got a few stacked here where you can see the imprints in the rocks. So very cool, a lot of diversity out here in the canyons. So as we're down this canyon, it's echoing a little bit as I'm talking, but besides the echo, it's incredibly quiet down here. Like if you don't make any noise, you wouldn't hear like anything at all, which is kind of crazy. We're getting closer to where people are rappelling, so I think even though we're not doing it, we can watch them do it and get a little bit of excitement from that. Oh yeah, it definitely gets narrow. This essentially wraps up our tour of the Salt Canyons. We went to 2 different ones. The first one was more of a walkthrough. The second one's more of a rappelling canyon. Both of them were fantastic. Our tour guide was fantastic, and I just had a blast. So great time. If you want to do this, Roam Outdoor Ventures, definitely check them out. I highly recommend. All right, so we are out here at the north rim of the Grand Canyon in one of the viewing areas, and it is starting to rain on us now that we got here, and storm clouds are coming in. We can't see much very well, but it's still cool from what we can see. We decided to make the drive over. It was about 2 hours from our Airbnb. We're not technically in Utah, we're in Arizona, but because it was so close of drive for us, we were like, we may as well come see it. I gotta say, it's a pretty incredible view. The rocks do look fairly similar to what we were seeing in Utah, but the canyon obviously is much deeper than what we were going in Utah, so it's definitely a bit different. It's hailing on us right now, and they're pretty large, so I think we are going to go back in the vehicle. We sat in the car for 44 minutes, but it finally stopped raining and hailing. We are still on our way back from the Grand Canyon. I think we have about 54 minutes left roughly to our Airbnb from here. Still in Arizona, but we have stopped at the Lefevre Overlook, and it gives you an overlook of what they call the Grand Staircase. So the Grand Staircase gives you a snapshot basically of the most colorful parts of the Colorado Plateau, and you can see a lot of different layers back there, and you can really just see very far into the distance. So even if it wasn't colorful, it's still a really cool place to see off in the distance. You can just see as far as the eye can go. If you're going by here or if you're going to the Grand Canyon, I would pull in and just take a look at everything. It's very cool. And this is, again, the Lefevre Overlook. We are packing up here. We're going to be leaving Orderville and heading up to Salt Lake City. We're going to stay 2 nights there, and we have multiple locations there that we're going to hit that are located around Salt Lake City, and then we're going to fly out of the Salt Lake City airport. We're going to see some other cool stuff, and we're going to head up north. We are here at Little Cottonwood Canyon in the town of Alta, and it's about roughly 40 minutes from our Airbnb in Salt Lake, and it's up here in the mountains, so this is like a ski resort area as well. We're here in the summer, so obviously there's no snow or anything, but there are a lot of wildflowers, and it's just very cool and very scenic. You have the mountains all around you. You can see like the ski lifts going up to the peaks and everything, so it's very cool here. We are also in a national park. I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not going to try for you. It is kind of clouding up there in the background, and thunder's rumbling, so we're gonna hike on down these trails here and hopefully not get rained on, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Everything looks really awesome out here, so I think we're gonna get some cool sights in. We're not too far in right now. We're still pretty close to the entrance, but it's pretty cool. There's a little creek running through, and they have a little bridge that crosses over it.
Not too far on the trail, but it's kind of cool that you can see the ski lift going all the way down the run here, but obviously not in service right now because it's not during ski season, but it's still pretty cool to see that.
It's starting to cloud up pretty good, and it's thundering quite a bit. Weather forecast shows that it is going to rain here fairly soon. So we are going to go ahead and hike back down the trail and go back in the car, and we're going to call it a night. It's also monsoon season here in Utah, so from July to about August, that means it's going to rain a lot. And so what happens here is storms will just pop up very quickly. It wasn't necessarily going to rain, and now clouds are coming in and the forecast is changing. So it's not so much that we didn't check the weather beforehand, it's just that it's very unpredictable during this time of year here in Utah. Because of that, we are not going to hang around for the storm. 7:10 in the morning, and we have decided to head to the Bonneville Salt Flats first. Then we're going to come back here and go up to the Cecret Lake Trail, which is up in the mountains. We are out here in the Great Salt Lake Desert on our way to the Bonneville Salt Flats. We are about 30 minutes away from our stopping location here. Along the side of the highway, there's a massive concrete tree back here, and it's 87 feet tall. It's called Metaphor, or also the Tree of Life, but it was designed by Swedish artist Carl Moman. And basically the idea was that to bring some life to this desolate landscape, really like nothing around except just flatness. And then you can see the mountain ranges very far off in the background. So a little bit of a different landscape for us here than what we had for most of our trip. As the name suggests, Great Salt Lake Desert, there are chunks of salt out here. In fact, there's salt everywhere. On our way here, we were passing the Great Salt Lake. There were essentially salt mills, like Morden Salt, for example, was off the side of the highway, and they just had piles of salt next to their processing facility. Here's a chunk of salt that I just picked up off the ground, and you can find clumps like these all over. There's a fence that runs all the way around this thing, though they have the front gate open. What you probably noticed here is it's covered in locks and honestly trash. They're like socks tied to this fence, old masks, some dirty sandals. The idea with the locks is that they're love locks. People that are traveling together and, you know, in a relationship or something, they will put locks on the fence to symbolize their lasting love out in the desert or something. Not really quite my thing, but it's kind of neat to see that, and it's definitely a little bit different. There's also a ton of trash that they tied to this fence, so that's not quite so neat.
There's also a ton of broken glass out here. Just as far as you can see, it's just broken glass, and I bet it's probably some sort of tradition to throw glass bottles up at the tower. It's kind of interesting to see. I mean, it's just covered in broken glass.
We are at the Bonneville Salt Flats State Park, and we are now driving through the Salt Flats, which is pretty cool. You could pretty much drive anywhere, but there are like quite a few trails that branch off from the state park head, and we're just following one of those. It almost looks like there's snow on the ground in the middle of July here. And we are not in a four-wheel drive off-road vehicle either, so luckily it doesn't seem like it's wet out here, otherwise we'd get stuck. So food for thought. We have now parked in the middle of the Salt Flats. It's really cool out here, and honestly it's like really quiet too. You almost hear no noise. For it being just salt crusting the ground, there is life out here. There are tons of bugs for some reason, unfortunately. What we're stepping on now, and you might be able to hear it crunch, is salt. I mean, it's just crusted salt on the surface of this ground, and it's everywhere. And we're on a trail here, so it's a little bit more packed down, but we're just gonna walk off into the salt here. This is just the top surface of the salt flats, and it's literally just crusted salt, and you can break it off real easy. It's not very thick either. I'm probably like 1/8 of an inch thick, but that's just a crusty layer of salt. Bonneville Salt Flats extend for 30,000 acres, so this is a very massive expanse of salt plains. Bonneville is also known for the Bonneville Speedway, which is on the northeast portion, and that's where like amateur racers go to break the speed barrier, basically, because you can speed across these plains, so they are kind of known for racing as well. The federal government owns the vast majority of this land, and they actually use it for storage depots and testing sites, and the 1945 crew that dropped the atom bomb actually tested out here. As far as finding actual crystals out here, we haven't found any, and I don't think you're supposed to dig out here either, so we really haven't tried. We've just kind of been looking along the surface, and I don't know too much on finding actual crystals out here besides, you know, the salt crystals, which are not super solid. It's a very neat place to be. There are people that will drive in every once in a while. This was definitely worth driving out here, and I recommend you check it out. It's a very cool place. But I think we're gonna walk around a little bit more and then head back to Salt Lake City, and then we're going to go up the mountain to Cecret Lake Trail and do some more exploring up there. So I think it'll be pretty cool. We made it back here to Cecret Lake Trail. You have to pay 12 bucks to access the trail. Right when we got to there, it started raining on us. It's supposed to continue throughout the day, but they weren't calling for it in the forecast. Again, we're here in monsoon season, so things change pretty frequently, but the rain is let off now, so it's not too bad. We're just gonna go through even if it rains on us this time. We're gonna hike on up to the lake and check it out.
Okay, so we're on Cecret Lake Trail, And this area is known for all of their wildflowers. Not sure of the names of them, but we have some nice purple ones growing here, and there's going to be a lot more, so I'm kind of excited to see that.
So with all the recent rains, there's been a lot of runoff down the mountain. And it's pretty cool actually because it creates these little streams and they cascade over the trails and then run down through the sides of the mountain. So makes it a little bit more scenic, but it's very cool even without that. There's tons of wildflowers everywhere, lots of chipmunks and ground squirrels and birds as well. But there's a lot to see here. And apparently we were talking to someone, she was saying that if we walk down the trail quite a ways past the lake, we may potentially get some moose viewing in of wild moose here, so that would be pretty cool. So we're getting further up the mountain now, and it's getting a lot rockier and less vegetation around, but there's still quite a bit. But one of the cool things is there's a lot of really neat rocks to look at. Even this one that we're standing on, it's a very massive piece of the mountain, but it's very cool. So we're kind of to a point where there's some overlook areas where you can stand up on the rocks and look past, like we're above the trees, so you can basically see above the trees all the way down into the valley. And the mountains all the way along here, and you can see the ski lifts, and they're doing a little bit of construction in the area, so I can see a couple houses, but it's a very incredible view from here, so it's very cool. We're getting higher up on the mountain here, and it is getting quite a bit steeper as we go to a higher elevation, but we are close to the summit, and the lake should be pretty close, within a half mile at least from here, so we're getting very near to it. Then there's actually a little natural cave back in here, so that's pretty cool. So we made it all the way up to the mountain to Cecret Lake, which is here in the background, and it's just absolutely incredible. Like, the water is crystal clear, you can see down very far, and that's not even the coolest thing. The crazy thing here is there are salamanders, like everywhere in the water, and they're right along the edge, and they'll come up and just like float to the surface. But I mean, you can see them all over in here. There's probably like 5 right below me here in this spot, but all along this, as we've been walking, there have been salamanders everywhere, and I've never seen a salamander in the wild before. So that is first time sighting for me, and I think that's very cool, but it's just beautiful up here. It's cooler temperatures up here as well. I think we're in probably like the mid 50s right now. Down in lower Salt Lake City, it's closer to 90 some. So that's quite a bit of a temperature change. But the weather's been holding out for us, and it's very cool here.
So we made it to the very top of Cecret Lake, and this is by far one of my favorite views from the whole entire trip. Mid 50 degrees, and it's just very, very stunning. Like, just in every direction that you look, it's just beautiful. Almost looks too pretty to be real, so it's very cool. We are making our way down from Cecret Lake. Been seeing a lot of these Indian paintbrushes, which is pretty unique because we have these at home. Typically ours are a lot shorter than this, so they only grow about this tall, but here we've seen a bunch of them that are really tall and very high in number. But back where I'm from in Oklahoma, they just cover the whole field, so it's really cool that they also grow here. So we just got interrupted on the trail that there is supposedly a moose about a half mile up this side trail here, so we're gonna go see if we can find him.
I just hiked up this steep incline up towards the peak of the mountain, probably anywhere from a half mile to a mile, because we met a guy on the trail down a ways, and he told us about a half mile up there was a bull moose on the trail, so to be careful. And I was like, that's fantastic. I'm gonna go up there and try and get a video of it at least. Unfortunately, I did not see this bull moose. I did see two, I believe, female elk bedded down, and we saw some really fat marmots back the other way. We've seen tons of ground squirrels and chipmunks and all kinds of stuff. So it's been a really cool hike, really fun. But I'm disappointed I didn't get to see the moose. That would have been amazing. Other than that, it's been a really good 7 days here in Utah, exploring state parks, national parks, overlook scenes, and a lot of different cool stuff. So if you guys want to follow along what we did, I'm gonna have the itinerary in the video description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We put a lot of time into filming it, so if you did, please like and subscribe, and check up on our upcoming and past videos for the outdoors, fishing, hunting, and everything in between. So thank you guys.